Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Koholo Yahweh Bashib Yahweh Shai, Bashim HaKadesh, double honors to Apostle Elders, a great millstone that taught me the truth that rule well. Peace and citations to Yah came out there pushing the truth in all sincerity, on highways and byways and enriching their lives to do so. Citations to the hopeful elect that are scattered among the four corners of the earth that believe in the truth, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Shalom. I just wanted to, do a video on, this book that I came across. Actually, this Edomite woman at work, she actually gave me a printout of this book that's like 175 pages long, dealing with end times. While I'm at work, sometimes, I like to, see, how these Edomites react to certain things or whatever. So, we just talking about politics, and, we was talking about, how Biden's, is going to be the new chief and commander, of what they call the United States. And, we was just talking about, all his mandates, how he got the COVID task force and whatnot, and he's going to mandate mask wearing, and, more than likely he's going to mandate vaccinations and, lockdowns and whatnot. And she was like, you know what? This sounds like, she was like, yo, do you read the Bible or whatever? And I'm like, yeah, I read the Bible from time to time. And she was like, because this sounds like, this is like end time prophecy. And, I said, you know what? I was thinking the same thing. So she was like, yo, I got something for you to read. I was like, oh, yeah, let me know. Give it to me whenever you get a chance. Let me catch a hold of it. I'll be interested in reading. I'm always interested in reading things like that, right? And the next thing I know, she comes out with a big a book of paper, and it's like 175 pages that she printed out. You know what I'm saying? And she gave to me, like, so that shows you, like, these Edomites, they're afraid. They see that the end is near. They know what's about to happen, what's about to go down. And the Lord is putting that on their spirit, And, this book, it was written by Edomite. And, he goes into, the signs of the end times. And it's amazing how, these Edomites, they can see that, we're at the end. And, plenty of jakes, it's those that are out of the truth and even in this truth. So, as they say, they can't see, like, the signs of the end times. They're telling you, like, there's going to be no tribulation, or, the RFID microchip is not the mark of the beast. But, these people, they actually see these things. These Edomites, they can see that, these things are so, and these things are biblical because we're in the end times. But before, I really get into the lesson, I just want to tell you about a dream that I had last night. I had a spiritual dream of spiritual powers or whatnot. It was something light, nothing major, but it was like the first spiritual dream that I have of the elect men receiving spiritual powers. I was in the dream, I actually had a telepathic conversation with Brother Malcolm of the Chicago camp or whatnot. I just say Brother Malcolm because I know when you call him elder, he preferred to be called brother. He, most of these brothers, that's are the true men of the Lord. They're really very humble. But anyway, in the dream, I was telling, I called out his name, and I said, Brother Malcolm, and I said, Brother Malcolm, can you hear me? And he said, yes, I can hear you. And, like, in the dream, I can actually see him laying down, like he was in his bed laying down meditating. But I was actually asleep though, which is crazy. But I just, called out his name and asked if he could hear me. He said, yeah, brother, I can hear you. And we just, like, started conversating about, what's going on in the end times or whatnot. And, he was like, yeah, brother, this is it. We at the end. And I'm like, yo, I can't wait till we get out of here. he just said, yo, just keep keeping the faith, just keep doing you doing, keep the faith. And then we went on to conversate a little bit more. I can't remember exactly what we were conversating about. Then I asked him something about if he saw a video that a brother did. He's like, nah, he didn't get a chance to see the video. He said, well, I told him I'll send you the link to the video so you can watch it or whatnot. And then he said, the water brother. And I go through my phone looking for the video. But as I'm looking through the phone, I'm like, am I bugging? Is this really happening? You know what I'm saying? Or is Satan playing my mind? You know what I'm saying? And then after that, that was the end of the dream. But it just felt so real that, we actually were having a conversation. And this brother, he never met me. And he was so welcome to the conversation. And it was like we knew each other for forever, So for two men to live in two different regions of the world, because he lives in Chicago, as you know, and I live in South Carolina. So it's amazing that we were in the dream that I was able to talk to him telepathically, and it's like we kind of bonded, never having met each other, but he was sincere in this conversation, and we talked. Like I said, it was brief, but I felt his sincerity, and I give all praise to Yahweh Shem Yahweh for that. So I'm hoping that, that was a sign showing that this brother's going to receive his spiritual power, during the time of tribulation. And I sent him a comment of the dream that I had, and in the last video that he did, or that he posted, and I looked for the comment, and these devils, they deleted it. Because, what made me think of him, this article that same night when I came across this article, or when I was planning to do a lesson on this article, I thought of him. I was like, yo, I'm going to send him a link, to this article in the comment section, because I know that, he likes reading books, and his book game is crazy. And, he do very edifying lessons on books, breaking it down with the scriptures or whatnot. So I thought that, he would do an edifying lesson, and edify the nation of Israel, So I told, I said, I myself, I'm going to try to do a lesson as well. Not that I deem myself a prophet of the Lord. I just believe that if the Lord has revealed this truth unto you, and you comprehend and you understand it, you have a responsibility to share the little knowledge that you have with the nation, And anyway, so I'm gonna just go into the lesson, dealing with the this book of the understanding the signs of end times. And I guess this is the intro for the book. It says, welcome, let us take a look at unfolding current events from a biblical perspective, signs unique to our generation, converging for the first time ever, the Most High revealing the future, not to scare us, but to prepare us. And the name of the author of the book is Oscar Lesky. Lesky, I think he's from Canada or whatnot. And this is what he states in his book. It's Israel, God's prophetic time clock. The signs of our times were only possible to understand since May 1948, with the rebirth of Israel after 1900 years of living in refuge around the world. In 1948, the Jewish people were restored to their own land. Old Testament prophecy tells that the Jewish people will gather from the four corners of the earth in the end times. Isaiah 11:10 and 12. See, so they, like, as you know, the powers that be deemed Amalek, the chief tribe, house of Edom, as the true Jews, which we know that to be false. Those are in the know. And They say that, the 1948, when they open up them all the Jews to go back into Israel, that was biblical prophecy, which that's not so. These 1948ers, they hold on to that, but the Lord said that He would gather them, His people, into the land, and once they're gathered into the land, there will be no more war. The world will be at peace. So, for them to say that that's the fulfilling of biblical prophecy is false. And we'll go into the scriptures and we'll bring that out. So this is Isaiah 11:10, which reads, "And in that day there shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign of the people. To it shall the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be glorious. It shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, and from Egypt, and from Pathros, and from Cush, and from Elam, and from Shinar, and from Hatham, and from the islands of the sea." So the Lord says that He would gather His people. It wasn't going to be something that to where that the United States or whatever say that they can go and enter into the land, and they can have possession of it. No, this was the Lord deemed that He was going to gather his people from the four winds of the earth and take them back over there Himself. This is going to be a great exodus, from their captivities. Reading on, "And He shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather them, the dispersed of Judah, from the four corners of the earth. The envy also of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim." Yeah, so what about the northern kingdom? The Jews say who they are, but what happened to the northern tribe and the rest of the southern tribe? So where are they? The Lord says that the whole kingdom of Israel is going to be there, but how did they not know who they are? How is it that the Jews, the so-called Jewish people, are the only people that know who they truly are? And when the Lord said that the true Jews were going to forget their heritage, but for some reason, somehow, some way, these Jewish people were able to hold on to their heritage. They know who they are, but they just don't know who the other nations are. But this prophecy clearly states that the Lord was going to gather His people, both the northern and southern kingdom, in that gathering, and place them in the land. So that belief of the 1948 doctrine is false. It's not biblical. So this is Matthew 24:30. Started reading out here. "And then shall appear a sign of the Son of Man." Slakia. "And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in the heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with the power of great glory. And He shall send His angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together His elect from the four winds, from one end of the heaven to the other." So the Lord says in His return that He was going to gather His elect from the four winds of the earth. And that hasn't happened yet. This is a future prophecy that has to take place. Going back to Isaiah 11:10 as well. So these are the precepts connecting, showing you that, this currently hasn't taken place yet. This is a future event to take place. We're also going to get it. Slack it. Come on, man. Phone away. This is Mark 13:25. And the stars of the heaven shall fall, and the powers that are in heaven shall be shaken. Yeah, and this is talking about the nuclear fire that's going to strike, you know, this land. You know, that the nuclear missiles going to, the stars falling from the heavens of the nuclear missiles that's going to be destroying this place. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in the clouds with great power and glory. And the Lord coming with his army of hosts, you know, to destroy this place, you know, for the atrocities that, you know, these other nations did to his people. And he send his angels and shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from the othermost part of the earth to the othermost part of heaven. Yeah, so as you can see, this has not occurred yet. So how can those that currently occupy the land of Israel be the children of Israel when the Lord hasn't even returned in his second coming yet? That's when the Lord said he's going to gather the children of Israel from the four winds of the earth. And that has not occurred yet, you know? This is Jeremiah 16:14. Therefore, behold, the days therefore, behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that it shall no more be said, Yahweh liveth that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But the Yahweh liveth that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north and from all the lands where he had driven them. And I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers. And again, the Lord said he's going to do this. He's going to bring us from, you know, Babylon the Great, which is, you know, known as America, the United States, the land of the north, and from all the other nations that we're in captivity to, from the four winds of the earth, for the four corners of the earth. So all the other nations that were scattered about, the Lord is going to gather us up in his chariots and rescue us and give us our salvation, you know. This is Jeremiah 3:17. At that time they shall call Jerusalem the throne of Yahweh, and all the nations shall be gathered unto it, to the name of Yahweh, to Jerusalem. Neither shall they walk any more after the imaginations of their evil heart. And we know that currently those so-called Jewish people in the land currently walk after the imaginations of their own heart, you know, because they don't even keep the words of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. They got their own book called the Talmud. And also, you know, they're all into homosexuality. They got a big homosexual parade that they hold, you know. You know, they're accepting to that way of life, you know. And also, like, they don't believe in the Bible, in the true words of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. You know, they created their own book, you know, which goes against the ways of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. We know in those days the house of Judah shall walk with the house of Israel, and they shall come together out of the land of the north to the land that I have given for an inheritance unto their fathers. Yeah, so the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom are going to be gathered together and in the land of Israel at the same time. But I said, how shall I put these among the children and give thee a pleasant land, a goodly heritage in the hosts of the nations? And I said, thou shalt call me my father, and shalt not turn away from me. That's all I wanted from that, actually. Let me go to the next. You said this is Jeremiah 23:7, which reads, therefore, behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that shall no more say, Yahweh liveth, which brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But Yahweh liveth, that brought up and which led the seed of the house of Israel out of the north country, and from all countries, whether I have driven them, and they shall dwell in their land. Yeah, so this going back to Isaiah, it's like it's Jeremiah 16, you know? He's just, um, restating the same thing, that the Lord is going to come and rescue his people and bring them into their homeland. There wasn't something that was just going to be done on their own. The Lord is going to, in his second coming, he's going to gather his elect out of the destructions that are taking place on the earth, because the Lord is going to bring judgment into the world, and it's just going to be a changing of kingdoms. Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of that followeth. So the Lord is going to gather his children out of the destruction, those of the elect, and the 2/3 of the nation of Israel, along with the other heathen nations, they're going to be destroyed. But the Lord is going to spare some of the heathen, because we got to have slaves or people are subjecting to us in the kingdom. So some of those people will be spared, but they're going straight into servitude. Anything else? Ezekiel 36:24. For I will take you from among the heathen and gather you out of all the countries, and will bring you into your own land. Then will I sprinkle clean water upon you, and ye shall be clean from all your filthiness, and from all your idols will I cleanse you. A new heart also will I give you, and a new spirit will I put within you, and I will take away the stony heart of your flesh, and I will give you a heart and I will give you an heart of flesh. Yeah, the Lord is going to give us a new body, and he's going to put us in a proper mind state. We're going to be in agreement or in the mind state, or the same mind state as Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. We're not going to be able to go off. We're not going to be able to sin. We're going to be gods among the earth. We're going to be immortal. We're going to get rid of this corruptible flesh, and we're going to be in incorruptible flesh, and we're going to be gods among the earth. And the people of the other nations going to be in servitude or submitted unto us. That's just part of our blessing, getting the heathen as an inheritance. And I will put my spirit within you and cause you to walk in my statutes, and ye shall keep my judgments and do them. Yeah, because we're going to have the ways of the Lord written inside of us. And ye shall dwell in the land that I gave to your fathers, and ye shall be my people, and I will be your power. I will also save you from all your uncleanness, and I will call for the corn and will increase it, and lay no famine upon you. And I will multiply the fruit of the tree and the increase of the field, that ye shall receive no more reproach or famine among the heathen. Then shall ye remember your own evil ways and your doings that were not good, and shall loathe yourselves in your own sight for your iniquities and your abominations. Not for your sakes do I this, saith Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Be it known unto you, be ashamed and confounded for your own ways, O house of Israel. Thus saith Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, in the day that I shall have cleansed you from all your iniquities, I will also cause you to dwell in the cities, and the waste shall be built, and the wastes shall be built, and the desolate land shall be tilled, whereas it lay desolate in the sight of all that passed. And they shall say, the land that is desolate is become like in the Garden of Eden, and the waste and desolate and the ruined cities are become fenced and are inhabited. Then the heathen that are left round about you shall know that I, Yahweh, built the ruined places and planted what the waste and planted that was desolate, and Yahweh have spoken it, and I will do it. Thus saith Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, I will yet for this be inquired of by the house of Israel, to do it for them. I will increase them with the flock, with men like a flock, and the holy flock as the flock of the Jerusalem in her solemn feast. So shall the waste cities be filled with flocks and men, and they shall know that I am Yahweh. So yeah, the Jerusalem is going to flourish in the day that the Lord puts us back in the earth, because it's desolate. It don't follow the ways of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. But when the Lord puts in our rightful state, the land of Jerusalem will no longer be desolate. You know. So this is Ezekiel 37:21, saying to them, thus said Yahweh, power, behold, I will take the children of Israel from among the heathen, whether they be gone, and I will gather them on every side and bring them into their own land, and I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel, and one king shall be king to them all, and they shall be no more two nations, neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms anymore at all, neither shall they defile themselves any more with the idols, nor with the desolate things, nor with any of their transgressions, but I will save them out of all their dwelling places wherein they have sinned, and will cleanse them. So shall they be my people, and I will be their power. And David my servant shall be king over them, and they shall have one shepherd. They shall also walk in the judgment and observe my statutes and do them. Yeah, so for one, the nation of Israel, where's King David in current day Jerusalem or Israel? Where is he? He's not there. You know what I'm saying? The Lord says when he gathered the nation of Israel from the four winds of the earth, that he's going to place a king upon them, and King David, and we're going to keep the Lord's statutes and commandments of Yahweh Shem Shai, which, those Jewish people, they don't keep, because they don't believe in, in the words of Yahweh Shem Shai. Like I said earlier, they believe in the Talmud. They have their own book, which is their own way, because those are the synagogue of Satan. Those are the city of Jews that are not. Matter of fact, we'll get that, but I'm going to just read on. And they shall dwell in the land that I have given unto Jacob my servant, wherein your fathers have dwelled, and they say, dwell therein, even they and their children and their children's children forever, and my servant David shall be their prince forever. Moreover, I will make a covenant of peace with them. It shall be an everlasting covenant with them, and I will replace them and multiply them, and I will set my sanctuary in their midst of them forevermore. My tabernacle also will be with them. I will be their power, and they shall be my people. And the heathen shall know that I, Yahweh, do sanctify Israel, when when my sanctuary shall be in the midst of them forevermore. Yeah, so that didn't happen yet. These are things that are to come. So that 1948, the Jews going into the land and whatnot, fulfilling biblical prophecy is false. Now, as we went through the precepts, showing you that these accounts haven't taken place yet. These are future things that are to take place, and so that Israel going into the land, hasn't been fulfilled yet. So this Edomite is sadly mistaken. What else? All right, let's go back, finish reading. So, okay, we left off here. This was the greatest miracle of the past 1900 years, a nation created in one day, just as Isaiah had prophesied 250 years earlier, Isaiah 66, 78, which, he's also mistaken with that too, but we're going to read on. After June 11, 1967, when the Israel forces captured the city of Jerusalem in the Six-Day War, God's prophetic clock started ticking loudly. The nation Israel is the timepiece, or the point of reference God has given us for discerning the times of the season we live in. We are living in the end times, because what is happening now could not have happened in any other generation. God's plans is moving closer and closer to completion. You can't afford to miss what's coming next. which all that is true. Well, not the parts of, um, the nation being created in one day. And he's mistaken on that. And they did have war in 1967, which is a 6-day war. But the Lord says that, when his people were in the land of Israel, there will be no more war. So how is it that they were warring, with the Arabs or Ishmael, for the land? That doesn't make any sense, So somebody's, somebody's lying, And if it's not Yahweh Shem Yahushua, it's not his book, his words, his truth, They're saying that, they fulfilled prophecy by going into the land, but then they had to fight for it. But the Lord said there ain't going to be no fighting. The Lord going to come destroy this place, rescue his people, and put them in the land, and it's going to be at peace, and then everybody's going to be submitted unto the nation of Israel, and we're going to live by the ways of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. And the world currently is not doing so. They're not living in the ways of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. This world is full of sin. This is a filthful, wicked place, a current world that we live in, because it's ran by the wicked Esau Edom. He's in power, and the chief house of Amalek is the people that stole the land, and the imposters, or the fake Jews that are currently in the land, and they're going to be destroyed out of it soon to come. But let's get that Isaiah 67, she said. In fact, let's... Okay, let's see. Isaiah 67. Before she travailed, she brought forth... Someone saw here? In fact, let's start at 66 and 5. Hear the word of Yahweh, ye that tremble at his word. Your brethren that hated you, that cast you out for my name's sake, said, let the Lord be glorified. But he shall appear to your joy, and they shall be ashamed. Yeah, Esau, Edom, 2/3, y'all gonna be ashamed. Because y'all cast out, the truth, or the true way of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Y'all against the way of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. 2/3 of our people, they don't believe in this truth. You present this to them, you tell them that, they're the true Jews, or they're the true people of the nation of Israel. They ain't trying to hear that, All they want to do is go along and get along in this wicked kingdom, and continue to have the luxuries that Esau Edom has to offer to you. But what Esau Edom has to offer to you ain't shit, But a lot of our people, they love it here, And you're going to be ashamed. You're going to be put to shame in the return of the Lord, for your filthiness and you being against him. And Esau Edom, he's against his brother. He's against his brother, and he's going to have to pay for the wickedness that he did to us, while he had us in his possession, So the Lord has set it up perfectly, for this man to be destroyed, for him to live his blessing that he was able to live, living by the sword, being against, being the wicked of the earth, coming from his low position of servitude to ruling over all kingdoms and being the power structure of the current world, But that's all to come to an end, because, he will no longer be in power, and he's going to, go into servitude. He's at the end of his reign. And this is what this guy goes into his book. I'll probably go into some other chapters and bring out some other scriptures going into the chapters that he has written in his book. But it'll make for a longer video. This video is already going on for a while now. So let me just finish this up and continue reading. A voice of noise from the city, a voice from the temple, a voice of Yahweh rendered recompense to his enemies. And when has the Lord has paid recompense to his enemies of the nation of Israel? He hasn't done that yet, but that's soon to come. Before she travailed, she brought forth. Before her pain came, she was delivered of a man child. who have heard such a thing, who have seen such things? Shall the earth be made to bring forth in one day, or shall a nation be born at once? For as soon as Zion travailed, she brought forth her children. Yeah, one day the Lord is going to come back and destroy this place, and then we're going to go into our land and we're going to possess it. But that day hasn't come yet. But these so-called Jewish people, they say that day's already come, and these two prophecies have been fulfilled. But we're going to go on to read and show you that the Lord these things hasn't come to pass yet, because he's going to go on to talk about in this chapter what he's going to do in his return. We're going to keep reading. Shall I bring to birth and not cause to bring forth, saith Yahweh? Shall I cause to bring forth and shed the womb, saith thy power? Rejoice ye with Jerusalem, and be glad with her, all ye that love her. Rejoice for your joy with her, all ye that mourn for her, that ye may suck and be satisfied with the breast of her consolations, that ye may milk out and be delighted with the abundance of her glory. For thus saith Yahweh, behold, I will extend peace to her like a river, and the glory of the Gentiles like a flowing stream. Then shall ye suck, ye shall be born upon her. It's like shall be born upon her sides, and dandled upon her knees, as one whom his mother conformeth, so will I comfort you, and ye shall be comforted in Jerusalem. And when ye when ye see these, and when ye see this, your heart shall rejoice, and your bones shall flourish like a herb. And the hand of Yahweh shall be known towards his servants, and his indignation towards his enemies. And that haven't taken place yet. For behold, Yahweh will come with fire and with chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury and cause rebuke with flames of fire. Yeah. So the Lord returned with his chariots, with his army of hosts, current in the second coming yet? No, that hasn't happened. So how is it that they fulfilled this prophecy? Because they didn't. You know what I'm saying? This is a future prophecy that's going to take place. Reading on, for by fire and by his sword will Yahweh plead with all flesh, and he shall slain, and the slain of Yahweh should be many. They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree in the midst, eating swine's flesh and the abomination, and the mouse shall be consumed together, saith Yahweh. Yeah, see, so the Lord says that, in his coming, he's going to plead with all flesh. He's going to start putting people, he's going to bring judgment. He's going to start putting people to death. He's going to start putting people to death for the wickedness that they've done upon the face of the earth. And he's only going to spare, the elect, his chosen, that kept the ways or cried out to him and followed after the ways of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Those are the only people the Lord is coming to save, as mentioned in Mark and Matthew 24, Mark 13 and Matthew 24, that he's going to come and gather his elect from the four winds of the earth, and the elect are those that believe in the truth of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, the 100% truth, not those that believe in bits and pieces of the doctrine. You got certain Israelite groups that don't teach the whole truth, and those not the true men of the Lord. The true men of the Lord are that the Lord has given his truth to, are the men in Great Millstone, the 100% truth. And for those that follow after these men, or those that teach the same doctrine as these men, you got to give honor to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, that he gave you the proper discernment to be able to follow his true men of the true men of the Lord. Because a lot of these people, they believe that they're following the men of the Lord, but they're not. The Lord has deceived them. They're trapped in a stumbling block, and the Lord has done so because that's their judgment, that's their lot to be destroyed. To believe that they're in the truth when they're truly not. you know. So I'm always grateful that the Lord has gave me the proper discernment to follow out the truth of the Lord, and I just pray that He never take this, His truth away from me, that I'm able to bear, all the afflictions and things that may take place through the tribulations to the end, and get beaten up on the chariots, or if I had to be, put to death, that I'll be raised up first, for just holding on and believing and having faith upon Him, I know that those that have to face certain things, that the Lord is going to give you put the spirit of upon you to endure whatever thing that you have to face during that time. And this is Micah 4:1, which reads, "But in the last days it shall come to pass that the mountain of the house of Yahweh shall be established in the top of the mountains, and it shall be exalted above the hills, and the people shall follow and the people shall flow unto it." Yeah, so the nation of Israel is going to be exalted over all the other nations, man. All these other nations are going to be subjected and submit into the nation of Israel. We're going to be over all these other nations. We're going to be the top nation, of the earth. It's going to be our time to rule. So these other nations are going to be in submission to us. And many nations shall come and say, "Come, let us go up to the mountain of Yahweh and the house of the Most High of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we shall walk in his paths. For the Lord shall go forth of Zion, and the word of Yahweh from Jerusalem." Yeah, so is that currently taking place now in Jerusalem, or all the nations coming to them for guidance and to learn the ways of Yahweh Shem Shai? No. It's going to show that prophecy hasn't been fulfilled yet. But and he shall judge among many people and rebuke strong nations afar off, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears unto prune hooks. Nation shall not lift up a sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. So did they not say that there was a 6-day war that went on, that they took over Israel? That they had a 6-day war and that will help them establish their foundation, as in the nation. That doesn't make any sense, So the Lord says there wasn't going to be no war, and no longer be any war when the nation of Israel is in the land, and that He was going to gather them and take them into the land, and that once they get there, the land is going to no longer be desolate. It's going to flourish, and all the worlds will know the ways of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. His people will going to no longer be able to sin, and the other nations will be in submission to Him, and everybody's going to be at peace. They're going to be no more weapons of war, and we know there's mass weapons of war currently in the earth. And the people that hold the bulk of it, or those that were blessed to rule with the sword. Russia, they own the most, nuclear weapons, and Esau, Edom, which they are part of the house of Edom, as well as the United States. Those two hold like 90+% of nuclear power weapons. Showing you that they are the Lord has given them the blessing of the sword. So yeah, for I think then Oscar Lesky, to go into the book and write about the end time signs, he goes into the chapters of the Bible that deal with it, but he doesn't have a true understanding of what's going on. But it goes to show that Esau, Edom, he knows that we're at the end. That he knows that this is the end of his kingdom. And that their rule is almost over. And like I was saying, like many of Jake, they can't see that we're in the end, because like they want to just enjoy this life, man. They're telling you to go vote, for your enemy, exchanging one devil for another. But they don't know that Biden's going to help push forth, the agenda of the mark of the beast, and what, forcing his COVID vaccination among the people. He's going to have a mandated vaccination. He's going to have mandated mask wearing. He's going to have mandated shutdowns. They saying even after they come up with a vaccination that, there's still going to be lockdowns. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to, fully open things up. Why? Because their agenda is that they want you to be enslaved. They want you to be in fear, so you got to depend upon them. So you can't depend upon your Lord, and he pretty much doing it just to destroy the nation of Israel. The so-called Latino, Native Americans, and Negroes. This is what his true agenda is. He's willing to even destroy his own people. That's how wicked this devil is. That he's going to destroy his own. He is that is evil unto his own, as the scriptures say. Just paraphrasing that. But why would you trust a man like that? But many of our people, what I'm saying, they voted for him. These 2/3 niggas, they voted for Joe Biden, thinking that he's going to save them. But your true power, that's who's going to save you. Yahweh Shai is the only way. Out of your oppression that you're currently facing. And your social injustice. The only way that this thing's going to change is the wicked got to be done away with. And the wicked is Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. And he got to be destroyed. He got to be taken out of his place of power in order for you to have peace. In order for all the world to have peace, at once or simultaneously, this evil, wicked individual has to be taken out of the earth, and the earth has to be put under righteous rule, which is to come, because the Lord is going to come and destroy this place, and all the wicked will be wiped out, and the nation of Israel is going to be come and rule, and they're going to have to, the whole world is going to have to submit it to them and keep the ways of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, and then the world is going to be ruled righteously. But something else I wanted to grab, I said the Jews and are not this is Revelations 2:9. I know thy works and tribulations and poverty, but thou art rich, and I know thy blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. And that's talking about these so-called Jewish people, what I'm saying, that's in the land of Israel right now. They say they're Jews, they are not, but they are the synagogue of Satan, because they don't keep the ways of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, and they're of the seed of Satan. Those are, he's the devil, the serpent that deceives the whole world. And behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. Yeah, the Lord only loves the nation of Israel, and he's going to put these devils in servitude, and take them out of the way, take them out of their rulership, and then, and take down the whole system, and take them out of the land which they stole, from our people, because they're imposters. They're of the synagogue of Satan. What else is there? Revelations. What I wanted to get. Is that in this? Satan deceive come on, man. It's a devil. Revelations 12. You know what I'm looking for. There you go, 12 and 9. And the great dragon which cast out the old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceived the whole world, he is cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Yeah, Esau, Edom is the devil and Satan that deceived the whole world, that had the world believing that, they're the true children of the nation of Israel. But they're going to be cast out, him and those that are with him. Those are those are the nations that cleave upon his ways, that drunk of his wines, the wines of Babylon. They're going to be cast down. They're going to be cast out. From their positions. The Lord is going to destroy. DC the nations, and they're all going to be in servitude to the nation of Israel. But like I said, what I'll do, I'll put the link to the book in the description box, and if any of your brothers want to do lessons, on the chapters in the book, like I said, I'll probably go into some of the other chapters, go into scriptures more of what he has in his book. Let's see what do you have. I'm strolling up. So these are the chapters: signs discerning our time, discerning our times, signs unique to our generation, Israel, God's prophetic clock, major events of the end times, the coming economic meltdown, what can we do to prepare ourselves? Are we like Amazonian slave ants? So I'll probably go into a couple of these, chapters and do another lesson, Lord willing. But that's pretty much it. I'm sorry for the noise. I'm at work. I'm on a plantation, so that you may hear noise in the background. But slack it for that. But anyway, just want to say, Koholo Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Kwam Ashewala, Abba Baba, and Shalom.